Title: Nia and Aedy's Magical Adventure, Time Traveling Through King's Day. What will Nia and Aedy discover in that dusty old toolbox? A mysterious glowing watch, ready to take them on an adventure they'll never forget. The clock is ticking, and the world is about to change. Don't miss the magic waiting just around the corner. So let's start with the Part 1. Part 1, The Garage Mystery and the Glowing Watch. It was one of those lazy Sundays where the sun hung high in the sky, casting golden rays through the windows, and everything felt too quiet. Nia and her cousin Aedy were stuck at Nia's house, staring at the ceiling, completely bored. The kind of bored that made them debate the most ridiculous things, like whether cats could actually understand our language, or why socks always disappear in the laundry. Ugh, I wish something exciting would happen, Nia groaned, flipping through a stack of board games that they'd played 1,000,000 times before. I'm seriously running out of ideas. Aedy, always the curious one, jumped up. Hey, I have an idea. Let's go explore the garage. You never know what kind of crazy things are hiding in there. Maybe we'll find some treasure. Nia rolled her eyes but smiled. A treasure hunt in the garage? Sure, why not? I'm up for anything at this point. The two headed out to the dusty, cluttered garage, where boxes, old sports equipment, and forgotten holiday decorations were piled up high. The place smelled like old wood, a mix of forgotten memories and the lingering scent of fresh paint from their last DIY project. They'd spent hours there in the past, digging through old junk, but today felt different. Something seemed strange. Hey, look at this! Aedy exclaimed, pulling out a toolbox that was tucked away in the far corner. It looked ancient, with faded metal hinges and rusted edges. The lid creaked loudly when Aedy opened it, revealing a collection of rusty nails, old tools, and bits of scrap metal. But something in the back caught Nia's eye, a shiny, almost ethereal glow coming from beneath the tools. What's that? Nia asked, crouching down beside Aedy. She pointed to a small silver watch that lay half-buried under a tangle of wires and old screws. The watch was unlike any Nia had ever seen. It was sleek and futuristic, yet had an old-world charm to it. The face was blank, except for the glowing blue hands that spun slowly, as if moving with a mind of their own. That's cool, Aedy said, gently picking it up. The moment he touched the watch, the gears inside clicked loudly. The glowing hands on the face of the watch stopped spinning and aligned with a set of mysterious markings. The watch seemed to hum, almost as if it was alive. Whoa, did you hear that? Nia asked, her voice dropping into a whisper. It sounds like it's breathing. Aedy turned the watch over in his hands, inspecting it closely. I've never seen anything like this before. Maybe it's some sort of time machine? He joked, laughing nervously. But when he turned the watch back over to the front, the markings on the watch face shifted. The numbers were now unfamiliar, like a mixture of ancient symbols and futuristic designs. Without thinking, Aedy pressed a button on the side of the watch. The moment he did, the garage shuddered. A strange ripple filled the air, and the light in the room flickered. Nia's heart raced. What just happened? She gasped, grabbing onto Aedy's arm. The walls of the garage seemed to distort, bending and twisting in a way that didn't make sense. And then, just as quickly as it had started, the distortion stopped. Suddenly, the garage door burst open with a loud bang. The air outside felt completely different, fresher, more vibrant. Nia's eyes went wide as she stepped forward and looked outside. What she saw was beyond anything she could have imagined. The sky was a deep shade of orange, and music was blasting from somewhere in the distance. The streets were packed with people, all wearing bright orange outfits and dancing with joy. There were street markets with vendors selling bright scarves, hats, and candy. Everything seemed to be alive with energy and excitement. Wait, are we in the Netherlands? Nia gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. Aedy blinked, trying to process what had just happened. He looked down at the glowing watch in his hand and back at the bustling scene outside. I don't know, but I think we might have just time traveled? His voice wavered, a mixture of excitement and confusion. How is this even possible? Before they could react, the sound of laughter and cheering grew louder as people in the streets celebrated. Nia and Aedy stepped out of the garage and into the crazy, lively scene. They were no longer in their quiet neighborhood. They had somehow been transported to the heart of what looked like a royal festival. "Okay, this is insane," Nia said, laughing in disbelief as she spun around, taking in the orange-clad crowd. "Look at them! It's like everyone is in a giant costume party." Aedy laughed, his eyes shining with excitement. "And the music! This is amazing! It's like nothing I've ever seen before." The two looked at each other, both feeling a surge of excitement. They had no idea how they got here or how they would get back. But one thing was certain. This was going to be an adventure they would never forget. But just as they were about to dive into the festivities, the glowing watch buzzed again, its light flickering erratically. "Uh-oh," Aedy said, looking at Nia. "I think it's trying to tell us something." Nia nodded, holding up the watch. "We need to figure out what's going on, and fast. I don't think we can stay here forever." Suddenly, they heard the loud, upbeat sound of a boating party nearby, and in the distance, they saw a massive boat with colorful decorations and people dancing, floating down the canals. Nia's eyes sparkled. "Let's go check that out first. We'll figure out the watch later. There's no way I'm missing out on this party." As the two cousins ran toward the canal, the excitement of the Dutch King's Day celebrations was all around them. The air was thick with the sounds of laughter, cheers, and music. For Nia and Aedy, this was only the beginning of their whirlwind adventure, and they couldn't wait to dive deeper into the magical world they had found themselves in. But they had to be careful. Time was ticking, and they didn't know when or how they would get back home. Will Nia and Aedy unlock the mysteries of time, or will they get lost in the magic? Stay tuned, because the adventure has only just begun. Part 2, Canal Boats and Orange Parade. Mayhem. Nia and Aedy are pulled through time and find themselves in the middle of King's Day. But things are not what they seem. What surprises does this royal celebration hold for them? They've never seen anything like it before, and neither have you. So let's begin. Part 2. Nia and Aedy sprinted towards the edge of the canal, their hearts pounding with excitement. The orange flags fluttered in the wind, the streets filled with music, laughter, and the scent of fresh waffles. But nothing could prepare them for what they saw next. A massive boat party drifting lazily along the canal, surrounded by people dancing, waving, and having the time of their lives. "Look at this," Nia said, wide-eyed, as she tugged at Aedy's sleeve. "We have to get on that boat." Aedy, always up for an adventure, grinned. "I don't know how, but we're definitely doing this." The cousins darted toward a small wooden dock where a boat crew was unloading party supplies. A friendly local, wearing bright orange sunglasses, saw them and waved them over. "You two want to join the party? We've got room for one more." Without thinking, Nia and Aedy jumped onto the boat, instantly swept up in the contagious energy. The boat was decorated with balloons, people were wearing feathered hats, and there was a DJ spinning cheerful tunes from a colorful setup in the back. Everyone was shouting, dancing, and celebrating as the boat glided through the water. Aedy and Nia couldn't stop laughing. The music was so loud and so full of life that they couldn't help but join in the dancing. At one point, Nia was twirling around the deck with a bunch of orange balloons, while Aedy tried to balance himself on a foam-filled cooler. They were giggling so much that they almost forgot they were time traveling. Just as they were starting to think they were part of the party, Aedy looked down at the watch. It was glowing again, brightly, with the symbols shifting rapidly. Something told them that their time here was limited. "I think we need to figure this out, Nia," Aedy said, wiping sweat from his brow as he adjusted his orange scarf. "The watch! It's trying to tell us something." But just as Nia was about to respond, a loud cheer rang out. The boat was approaching the King's Day parade, and the cousins were right in the middle of it. There were people on dressed-up floats, waving at the crowd, and fireworks began to burst in the sky above them. It was chaotic, it was beautiful, and it was pure magic. "This is insane!" Nia shouted as a parade float passed by with a gigantic float of King Willem-Alexander waving at the crowd. "We're actually part of the celebration!" As the boat sailed past, they waved at the crowd, and Aedy couldn't help but shout, "We love King's Day!" But the watch continued to glow brightly. Nia glanced at Aedy, her eyes widening. "Aedy, it's time to go. We can't miss this adventure, but we can't stay here forever." They had to figure out what the glowing watch was doing, and fast. The magical journey is only heating up. What will happen next as they dive deeper into the celebration? Be sure not to miss what's coming, because there's more magic waiting to be discovered. Part 3, Royal Rooftops and Stroopwafel. Surprises! Just when they thought they had seen it all, Nia and Aedy are swept into a royal boat party. What secrets does this unforgettable experience hold? The magic of King's Day keeps surprising them. Will they unravel its true meaning? After their thrilling boat ride through the canals, Nia and Aedy were barely able to catch their breath when a local Dutch girl wearing a vibrant orange dress waved them over excitedly. "You two look like you're new around here," she grinned. "Come with us. You don't want to miss the party on the rooftops. Trust me, it's where the real magic happens on King's Day." With their hearts racing and a sense of adventure urging them forward, Nia and Aedy followed the crowd, moving through narrow streets lined with buildings decorated in bright orange flags. The path was crowded with people of all ages, families, tourists, and locals, all sharing the same joyous spirit. The air was filled with a mix of chatter, music, and laughter, making it impossible not to be swept up in the fun. As they walked, Nia couldn't help but be captivated by the hustle and bustle of King's Day. "This is like a dream," she whispered to Aedy, taking in the sea of people dressed in orange from head to toe. "Everything is so colorful. Look at that giant orange float." Aedy grinned. "It's like one big party. I still can't believe we're here. How did we end up time traveling to this?" Nia looked at the glowing watch in her hand. It was still flashing in her palm, its gears spinning, but now it felt like it was calling them toward something more. She squeezed Aedy's hand. "Let's just follow the fun, and maybe the watch will lead us to answers." Finally, they reached the top of a small cobblestone staircase and emerged onto a rooftop with a panoramic view of Amsterdam's winding canals and bustling streets. The energy here was unlike anything they had ever experienced. Loud music blared from speakers set up on the rooftop, and everyone was dancing. In one corner, a small group of people was playing traditional Dutch folk music, while others were enthusiastically dancing in circle formations, their orange scarves twirling in the wind. "Wow," Aedy said, his voice filled with awe as he looked around. "This is a whole new level of celebration." Nia beamed with excitement. "We have to join in. Come on, let's dance." The two cousins jumped right into the group of dancers, swirling around with their new friends. Nia was laughing so hard she could hardly keep up with the dance moves. But it didn't matter. There was something so magical about the whole atmosphere. The joy was infectious, and before they knew it, they were lost in the rhythm, moving with the crowd and enjoying every second of the King's Day celebration. As they danced, Nia and Aedy noticed something. Everywhere they went, there were people handing out food. People were munching on everything from hot dogs to sweet treats. But the most tempting of all was the Stroopwafel, a traditional Dutch caramel waffle sandwich that seemed to be the snack of the day. "I I've heard about these, Aedy exclaimed, reaching for one of the waffles from a friendly vendor. They're supposed to be so good. Nia eagerly took a bite of her own, and her eyes widened. Oh my gosh, this is incredible! How have I never had one of these before? It's like a warm hug for my taste buds. The sweet caramel-filled treat melted in their mouths, and the two cousins couldn't help but giggle as they grabbed more. The vendor offered them more, laughing along with them as they chewed happily. Welcome to King's Day, friends! There's plenty more where that came from. As they ate their waffles, the cousins took in the view, breathing in the lively atmosphere of the celebration. People were everywhere. Some were on boats. Some were singing on the streets, and others were celebrating by playing games or sharing stories with friends. The more Nia and Aedy explored, the more they felt connected to the Dutch spirit of King's Day. I think we found the heart of the party, Nia said, looking around at the sea of people enjoying themselves. The watch in her hand continued to pulse with soft light, and Nia could almost feel its energy guiding them. But then, something unexpected happened. A flash of orange caught Aedy's attention as he glanced across the rooftop. There, across the crowd, he spotted a striking figure standing among the sea of partygoers. A woman in a stunning royal orange gown with a large sparkling crown. She looked regal, and there was something oddly familiar about her. Who's that? Aedy whispered. I don't know, but she looks like royalty, Nia replied, squinting her eyes. The woman noticed them staring and waved toward them. To their surprise, the woman's crown shimmered as she made her way toward them. She was surrounded by a group of people wearing orange sashes, and there was an air of royalty surrounding her. Hello, my dear friends, the woman said, with a warm smile. Welcome to King's Day. I'm Queen Maxima. It's lovely to see visitors so excited to join us for the celebrations. Nia and Aedy's jaws dropped. Wait, Queen Maxima? The Queen of the Netherlands? Nia asked, her voice full of disbelief. Queen Maxima nodded and laughed softly. Yes, indeed. But today everyone here is a part of the celebration. Today, all are royalty in their own way. She gestured to the crowd around her, a proud smile on her face. As they spoke with Queen Maxima, Nia and Aedy noticed that the watch in Nia's hand seemed to glow brighter. The gears inside it clicked, as if responding to the Queen's words. Something felt off, though. A soft hum filled the air, as if the watch was trying to communicate with them. Suddenly, the watch started to flicker rapidly. The symbols on the face began shifting faster than ever before, and the air around them crackled with energy. This is strange, Aedy muttered, looking down at the watch. Nia, I think the watch is reacting to something. Or someone. Before they could react, a small flash of light illuminated the rooftop. The crowd around them continued dancing, unaware of the energy swirling just above them. But as they tried to figure out what was happening, the woman with the crown turned her attention to them again. I believe you two are here for a reason, Queen Maxima said, her eyes twinkling mysteriously. The celebration of King Willem Alexander's birthday is a special one. It's filled with history, joy, and yes, sometimes a bit of magic. Nia and Aedy exchanged glances, both feeling an overwhelming sense of connection to this magical day. Nia's fingers lightly brushed the glowing watch, and the mysterious symbols began shifting again, this time pointing toward the city's royal palace. Do you think this is it? Nia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Aedy nodded. It's definitely a sign. We need to head to the palace. There's something there. Something we're meant to find. Before they could move, Queen Maxima smiled and whispered, Follow the lights, and you will know what to do. The magic of King's Day is stronger than it seems. With that, the cousins took one last look at the rooftop party, their hearts pounding in anticipation. They knew they were about to uncover something big, something that could change everything. As they descended from the rooftop and followed the glowing trail that only they could see, the city around them seemed to shimmer with a new energy, as if the entire world was waiting for them to take the next. The night is still young, and there's more adventure ahead. Stay with us, because this story isn't over yet. What happens next could change everything they thought they knew about time and themselves. Part 4: The Royal Palace and the Hidden Portal. From royal dances to surprises at every corner, Nia and Aedy are dancing their way through King's Day like never before. But what will they find in the heart of the celebration? The adventure is about to take a magical turn. With the glowing watch pulsating in Nia's hand, they followed the mysterious light trail weaving through the lively streets of Amsterdam. As they walked, the city seemed to hum with an ethereal energy. The orange decorations on every street corner, the laughter of people dancing in the streets, and the constant music in the air all blended together in a surreal mix of joy and magic. "This is unreal," Aedy whispered, almost in disbelief. "I mean, 1 minute, we're just messing around in the garage, and now we're being guided by a glowing watch to a royal palace." "I know, right? I don't even know what's going on anymore," Nia replied, squeezing his hand. "But it feels like we're part of something way bigger than just a normal King's Day." They moved deeper into the heart of the city, passing grand buildings with sparkling windows and vibrant orange decorations that almost felt alive. The lights in the streets seemed to grow brighter as they approached the royal palace, a majestic structure in the heart of Dam Square with its towering spires and elegant architecture. It was there that the glow from the watch grew stronger, nearly blinding in its intensity. The air around them felt charged, almost like the very ground they walked on was thrumming with magic. "That's it," Nia said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The watch is leading us here." They stood at the entrance of the royal palace, gazing up in awe at the grandiose building. The doors, tall and ornately carved, seemed to be beckoning them closer, though they knew it was locked. The watch in Nia's hand began to vibrate again, and the gears inside it clicked loudly as the symbols spun faster than ever before. Then, with a sudden, almost imperceptible motion, a strange glowing symbol appeared on the face of the watch, one they hadn't seen before. The air seemed to ripple in front of them, and with a low hum, a soft magical portal began to form right in front of the palace doors. Aedy's eyes widened. "Did that just happen?" "I think it did," Nia gasped, stepping toward the portal. The light from the portal illuminated the streets around them, casting everything in an ethereal glow. People still danced and laughed in the distance, unaware of the strange energy surrounding the cousins. Nia hesitated, glancing back at the bustling streets of Amsterdam. "We don't even know where this leads." "We don't have a choice," Aedy said with a grin. "We have to go. I mean, look at this. This is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime thing." With a shared glance, the two cousins took a deep breath, holding hands tightly as they stepped into the portal. The moment they crossed through, the world around them shifted, as if they were being transported through time and space. The familiar sights of the city blurred and twisted, replaced by a sudden sense of weightlessness. For a brief moment, everything went dark. Then, with a sudden jolt, they landed, softly on their feet, in a completely different environment. The portal closed behind them with a gentle snap, leaving them standing in what seemed like an ancient royal chamber, filled with gold and velvet drapery. The room was opulent, with crystal chandeliers casting soft light over the walls, adorned with centuries-old tapestries depicting scenes of Dutch royalty. At the center of the room stood a massive throne, draped in royal robes of deep orange and gold. Nia and Aedy looked at each other in awe, unable to believe what they were seeing. "This is incredible," Nia whispered, her eyes wide as she took in every detail. "I think we've just stepped into the heart of King's Day itself," Aedy said, voice full of wonder. Suddenly, A soft voice echoed through the chamber, making them both jump. "Ah, I see you found your way here." From the shadows of the throne room emerged a figure, a tall man dressed in regal Dutch attire with a golden crown gleaming atop his head. He was smiling warmly, as if he had been expecting them. Who are you?" Nia asked, still stunned by the sudden appearance of the royal figure. "I am King Willem Alexander," the man said, his voice filled with warmth and mystery. Or, rather, a part of him. The celebration today is not just for him, but for the spirit of King's Day itself. An ancient magic that lives through all who celebrate it. Aedy's jaw dropped. "Wait, you mean the King's Day celebration is magical?" The king nodded. "Indeed. King's Day is a celebration of unity, of history, of life. But there is more to it. The festival holds an ancient power, and only those with a pure heart can truly experience the full magic of it." Nia looked down at the glowing watch in her hand, feeling a deep connection to the king's words. "The watch? It's been guiding us." King Willem Alexander smiled. "The watch you hold is not just any ordinary timepiece. It is an artifact tied to the very essence of King's Day itself. It can bend time, show the heart of the celebration, and even reveal the secrets of the past. You two are destined to uncover these secrets." Nia and Aedy exchanged glances, excitement and curiosity filling their hearts. This was bigger than anything they could have imagined. "But how do we unlock its true power?" Nia asked. "You must find the crown of unity," the king replied. "It is hidden somewhere in this royal chamber. The crown holds the final piece of the puzzle, the key to understanding why you were brought here." The room suddenly seemed to shift, as if the air itself was alive. Whispers filled the space, and a subtle light flickered from behind the grand throne. Without a word, Nia and Aedy walked toward it, hearts pounding with anticipation. As they approached, the throne slowly shifted to the side, revealing a hidden alcove. Inside it sat a beautiful crown, its golden bands shimmering with intricate designs of royal symbols. The crown was bathed in a soft light, as if calling to them. "This is it," Aedy whispered. Nia carefully reached forward, her fingers brushing the cool metal. As soon as she touched the crown, the watch in her hand pulsed brightly, and the whole room seemed to vibrate with energy. The king's voice echoed through the chamber once more. "Now, you have unlocked the true power of King's Day. Use it wisely, for the magic you found today is one of a kind. You can return to your world, but always remember, King's Day's spirit lives in all of us." Before they could say another word, the room began to fade around them. The portal reopened, and they felt a sudden rush as they were pulled back into the vibrant streets of Amsterdam. But now, everything was different. The celebration felt even more magical, as if they had become part of it forever. Their journey isn't just about fun, it's about finding the true meaning of King's Day. Get ready for a heartwarming conclusion you won't forget. Come back to see how Nia and Aedy's adventure ends. Part 5. The Return to the Present and the King's Day. Legacy. As Nia and Aedy prepare to return to their normal lives, they realize that King's Day has left a permanent mark on their hearts. But how will they ever explain this unforgettable journey to their families? The magic of King's Day isn't just in the celebration, it's in every heart it touches. The world around Nia and Aedy spun once more. Their bodies felt weightless, as if they were floating through time and space, pulled between two worlds. The magical portal had opened, and they were being transported back to the present, back to the streets of Amsterdam. But everything felt different now. The royal chamber, the mysterious crown, and King Willem Alexander's words echoed in their minds like an enchanting melody. They landed softly back on the bustling streets, but this time, everything seemed even more vibrant, more alive than before. The music felt deeper, the colors brighter, and the laughter more infectious. The atmosphere was charged with an electric energy that resonated with them at their core. Aedy looked around, his face wide-eyed with awe. Did you feel that? It's like the whole city's in on a secret now. I know, Nia exclaimed, gripping the glowing watch in her hand. It's like we've tapped into something invisible, but it's everywhere. I can feel it in the air. They stood in the middle of Dam Square, watching the crowds of people in their orange outfits celebrating King's Day. They had been there just moments before, but now it felt like they had unlocked the hidden magic of the festival. The festival that everyone, from the youngest children to the oldest grandparents, celebrated with joy and passion. Yet Nia and Aedy knew something now that nobody else did. Look at the way everyone's dancing, Aedy said, pointing to a group of kids twirling in the square. They're celebrating, but not just in the usual way. There's something deeper about it now. It's like the entire city is connected. Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd, pulling them back into the celebration. The canal boats along the water were filled with people, all singing together. It's like they're part of something bigger, Nia said thoughtfully. Like they're all part of the same magic we just experienced. And then something incredible happened. As they walked through the crowd, the glowing watch in Nia's hand flickered again. For the briefest moment, time seemed to slow down, and the noise of the world around them faded into a quiet hum. The light from the watch shifted, casting a radiant glow across the street. The crowd continued to dance, sing, and celebrate, but Nia and Aedy noticed something truly remarkable. People were glowing with a faint golden light that matched the light from the watch. It wasn't just a trick of their eyes. Everyone, every single person, was part of the same magical celebration. The music, the laughter, the joy. It all felt like a collective shared experience, bound by something ancient and mystical. Aedy, Nia whispered, her voice full of awe. I think King's Day is the magic. It's not just a celebration of the king. It's a celebration of the people, of this entire nation. The magic lives in every person who celebrates it. I get it now, Aedy said with a grin. It's not just the crown or the watch. It's the heart of King's Day. It's the unity of the people, their love for their country and each other. As if on cue, the light from the watch grew brighter, and they suddenly felt the pull of the magic. Do you feel that? Nia asked, looking at her cousin. The watch. It's telling us something. With a gentle tug, Nia felt the time-traveling watch pulling her back. But this time, it wasn't through a portal. It was as if they were being guided by an unseen force, weaving through the sea of people. The crowd parted just enough to reveal a large stage set up near the canal. A man with a microphone stood at the front of the stage, announcing something to the crowd. Everyone, gather round. It's time for the traditional King's Day dance-off. The team with the best moves will win a special prize. The crowd cheered wildly, the excitement rising. Without warning, the people started breaking into groups, preparing for the dance-off. Aedy nudged Nia. What if we join in? Nia looked at him, eyes sparkling with excitement. Why not? We're part of this now, right? They joined the crowd, and suddenly, the music that had been playing in the background grew louder. The dance floor became a whirlwind of energy. Nia and Aedy found themselves swept into the center, surrounded by smiling faces all ready to show off their best moves. The crowd began to cheer them on, clapping in rhythm. The moment they stepped onto the dance floor, something strange happened. The watch in Nia's hand began to glow brighter, and suddenly they both felt a surge of energy. It was as if the very spirit of King's Day had entered them. Nia grinned and pulled Aedy into an impromptu dance. The two cousins began to dance with abandon, their feet moving in sync with the music, their laughter filling the air. The crowd joined in, and soon the entire square was in motion. their steps a perfect reflection of the unity and joy that defined King's Day. For a moment, it felt as though time had stopped again. There was no past, no future, only the present moment. The energy in the air was contagious, and they were no longer just observers of this magical world. They were part of it. As they danced, the royal watch continued to glow, pulsing with the heartbeat of the celebration. It was like they had unlocked the true power of the festival, the ability to connect people, to bring them together in joy, no matter their differences. King's Day wasn't just a holiday. It was a living, breathing force, powered by the spirit of the people. After what felt like hours, the music slowed, and the crowd began to calm down. People clapped and cheered, their energy never fading. The man on the stage stepped forward once again. Congratulations! You all were amazing, but there's one group that stood out. Let's give it up for the two new dancers who just blew everyone away. The crowd erupted into cheers, lifting Nia and Aedy up on their shoulders. They laughed, overwhelmed by the love and joy surrounding them. That was incredible, Nia said, her heart racing. This is what King's Day is all about. But suddenly, Nia glanced at the glowing watch again. The time was ticking down. The magic they had felt, this incredible connection, was about to end. They still had to return to their own time, back to the garage, before their parents found out what had happened. Aedy, we have to go, Nia said urgently. Right, he said, catching his breath. But we'll never forget this. We can't. With one last look at the cheering crowd, Nia and Aedy made their way to the edge of the square. As they stood there, hand in hand, the glowing watch pulsed one last time. The magic portal opened before them, the colors of the celebration still vibrant in their minds. We'll always carry the spirit of King's Day with us, Nia whispered. And with that, they stepped into the portal, leaving behind the magic of King's Day, but carrying its legacy in their hearts. As the portal closed, they landed softly back in their garage, the world around them returning to normal. But they knew something had changed. King's Day had been more than just a day. It was a reminder of the power of unity, joy, and the magic that lived within every celebration. Sometimes, the most magical adventures leave us with more than memories. They leave us with a legacy of joy. Thanks for joining Nia and Aedy on this magical adventure through King's Day. Their story reminds us all to embrace the joy, the love, and the magic in every moment. Ready for more? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more such stories. Stay with us for the next great adventure. The end? Or is it? What do you think? Would you want to visit the Netherlands for King's Day now? Let us know in the comments.